The activities of gastrointestinal tracts are under neural controls and hormonal control for proper coordination of different parts. The sight, a smell, and or presence of food can stimulate the secretion of the saliva. Gastric and intestinal secretion also similarly stimulated by the neural signals. Hormonal control of the secretion of digestive juice is carried out by the local hormone produced by the gastric and intestinal mucosa. And the muscular activities of different parts of the alimentary canals can also be moderated by a neural mechanism both local and through the CNS. So these all are the process of digestions. Now I'll discuss the this absorption process. Absorption is the process by which the end product of the digestion pass through the intestinal mucosa into the blood or lymph. And this process, it is carried out by the different types of by passive and active or facilitated transport mechanism. Absorption of substances take place in different parts of the alimentary canals like mouth, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. However, maximum absorptions occur in a small intestine. It is also called the principal organ for absorptions of nutrients. The digestion is completed here, and the final products of the digestion such as glucose, fructose, fatty acids, glycerol and amino acids are absorbed through the mucosa into the bloodstream and the lymph. So this is the all are absorbed in the small intestine. Now different villi and microvilli present in the small intestine increase the transport surface area. Transport mechanism may be two types: passive transport and active transports. Passive transports may be simple diffusion, facilitated transport and osmosis. So three types of passive transport. There is no needs of energy in this process of passive transports. The passage of a small amount of monosaccharides like glucose, amino acids and some electrolytes like chloride ions are generally absorbed by the simple diffusion. The passage of these substances into the blood depends upon the concentration gradients. However, some substances like glucose and amino acids are absorbed with the help of carrier proteins. This mechanism is called the facilitated transport. And transport of water depends upon the osmotic gradients. Active transport occurs against the concentration gradients and hence requires energy. Various nutrients like amino acids, monosaccharides like glucose, electrolytes like potassium are absorbed into the blood by this active mechanism. So glucose, amino acid and fatty acids. But fatty acids and glycerol being insoluble cannot be absorbed into the blood. They are first incorporated into the small droplets called micelles which move into the intestinal mucosa. They are reformed into very small protein coated fat globules called the chymomicrons, which are transported into the lymph vessels, lacteals in the villi. These lymph vessels ultimately release the absorbed substances into the blood streams. So this all absorption process takes place in the small intestine. Other organs like mouth, stomach, large intestine also absorb substances. Like in mouth, certain drugs coming in contact with the mucosa of the mouth and lower side of the tongue are absorbed into the blood capillaries lining them. And in stomach, absorption of water, simple sugars, and alcohol, etc. takes place. And in large intestine, absorption of water, some minerals, and drugs takes place. The absorbed substances finally reach the tissues with which utilize them for their activities. This process is called assimilation. The digestive wastes solidified into the coherent feces in the rectum initiate a neural reflex causing an urge or desire for its removal. The ejection of feces to outside through the anal opening called defecation is a voluntary process and is carried out by a mass peristaltic movements. So this is all the process of digestion that is takes place by the different organs and glands. Now we'll discuss the different disorder of the digestive system. The inflammation of the intestinal tract is most common element due to bacterial or viral infections. The infections are also caused by the parasites of the intestine like tapeworm, roundworm, threadworm, hookworm, pinworm, etc. First, indigestion. In this condition, the food is not properly digested, leading to a feeling of fullness. The cause of indigestions are inadequate enzyme secretions, anxiety, food poisoning, overeating, and a spicy food. And next is the constipation. In constipation, the feces are retained within the colon as the bowel movements occurs irregularly. Feces are stuck in the rectum. And vomiting, it is the ejection of the stomach contents through the mouth. This reflex action is controlled by the vomit center in the medulla. A feeling of nausea proceeds vomitings. And jaundice is the liver is affected. Skin and eyes turn yellow due to the deposit of the bile pigments. Now, the diarrhea, the abnormal frequency of the bowel movements and increased liquidity of the fecal discharge is known as the diarrhea. It reduces the absorption of waters. Some other diseases may be present like marasmus and kwashiorkor and protein energy malnutrition. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.